is up, everybody? Welcome to Edge of Philly Sports. Today, we are breaking down, previewing Eagles versus Dallas in a massive, massive Sunday night game, talking matchups to watch, keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles, and more. Joining us, he is Mitch Kofsky at Mitch Kofsky on X. What's up, man?
What is up, everybody? I'm excited for this game. I can't believe this game is like more. What is the word I'm looking for? I'm like, it's more intense. There we go. It's more intense than the first game.
Absolutely, man. There's so much to unravel in this matchup. Joining us, as always, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What is up, Ryan?
Not much, man. I'm ready for this game. I hate the fact that we have to wait a little bit longer to get to it, and messes up my sleep schedule. But I'll handle it. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a great rematch. And like I said, probably earlier in the week, it's not necessarily about wins or losses tonight. It's about how they respond. Dallas is a great team, and even if we play at our best, we may lose. But we want to see it. We want to see that effort more than we certainly saw last week.
Absolutely, guys. If you're watching us live, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Comment with us as we break down our matchups to watch and keys to victory. That being said, let's jump into the top matchups. Eagles versus Cowboys, man, doesn't get any bigger than this. I'm going to throw it to you, Mitch. What are you watching first?
I'm actually watching Dallas Goedert against the whole linebacker core, Michael Parsons especially. I just want to see Dallas Goedert back out there, just him getting the ball, him blocking. That's a huge important, especially what happened last week. So, Goedert.
Yeah, that's a huge one for so many reasons. I put this tweet out last week. But not just Goddard and opening up that middle intermediate area of the football field, but what it does for the rest of our boundary weapons like A.J. Brown, like Devontae Smith. Here's a stat for you in terms of Dallas Goedert and how much he means for A.J. Brown in this offense. A.J. Brown with Dallas Goedert this season, 84.8% reception percentage, 111 yards per game, 15 yards per reception. A.J. Brown without Dallas Goedert this season, 53.8% reception percentage, 53 yards per game, and 10.7 yards per reception, man. Those numbers speak for themselves, how much it opens up A.J. Brown down that sideline and that vertical element in this Eagles offense. Ryan, what's a matchup you're watching? You're muted, man.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. Just to piggyback off that slightly, you can obviously see last game especially, Jack Stoll wide open a bunch of times. And, Jalen just doesn't have the confidence to go to him. So hopefully, that certainly changes, obviously, with Dallas coming back. So that's a great, matchup to watch. I personally am going to be watching, hopefully, Darius Slay on CeeDee Lamb. And I hope to God he is attached to his hip all game because he torched us last time. He had a career day and just looked absolutely unstoppable and was a mere 2 yards away from winning the game for the Cowboys the last time. So I want to see a little more concerted effort to minimize CeeDee Lamb's impact. He's certainly going to get his, but I think right now Slay has to be the one on him right now. He might be the only one who can slow him down. So I want to see that a lot today.
I'm going to, because CeeDee Lamb does a lot in the slot, and I want to throw one more name in there, and that's Jake Ferguson, who had 10 receptions the last time these two teams met. Jake Ferguson had like 10 receptions, like 91 yards and a touchdown. My man Quentin's in the house. As always, I might be right there with you, Quentin. Not going to lie. But Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb, how do the Eagles linebackers and safeties and corners match up with them in the slot. That is going to be a massive, massive matchup. I'm going to lead off with Dak Prescott, who is on the absolute heater right now, clicking on all cylinders, arguably playing better than any other quarterback right now. A big reason for that is there's a lot more West Coast offense principles in that Cowboys offense. Dak is doing a lot more 3-5 step drops. Because of that, we've seen Dak more accurate. He looks more settled in the pocket. After the bye in week 7, man, we've also seen a lot more motion in this Dallas Cowboys offense, which is something I want the freaking Eagles to do this week. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, you know, that has led to Dak Prescott pushing the football down the field a lot more. The Cowboys are tied for the 3rd most explosive plays in the NFL, passing the football. 48 passing plays of 20 yards or more, man. Dak is more comfortable in the pocket. His accuracy is on point. He's not throwing into coverage as often. The interceptions are way down. So this is a Cowboys offense that mixes in a lot of personnel groupings. It's a Cowboys offense that does a lot of everything, under center runs, excelling from shotgun, utilizing a lot of motion, a lot of play action and rollouts, man. We have seen this Eagles defense struggle the most when they're going left or right. When defenses can run those counters, misdirections, get this Eagles defense playing horizontally, we've been at our weakest. So that is a huge one to watch. And Dak Prescott's firing, man. Anybody else have any other matchups?
Honestly, I'm really just I want to see just the linebackers for the Eagles. You know, we're getting Cunningham back. We're getting Shaq Leonard, whom, according to Cunningham, has really sung his praises all week, saying how quickly he's picking, the scheme up and everything. So I'm really hopeful that the two of them, certainly can at least improve from last week. I mean, good Lord, it was pretty terrible. So
that's a really good one. We have Little G Griffith saying Eagles 31, Cowboys 17. Oh my God, that would be insane. I would be so happy. We've got Reality Check. What's going on? Thanks for joining. Philly Special Cards. Thank you for joining. Another matchup to watch is that Eagles rushing offense versus the Cowboys run defense. Let's get into that. I think one of the biggest areas for last week's Eagles loss to San Francisco was the Niners run defense. The Eagles ran for 5.8 yards per carry and 185 yards 2 weeks ago. Last week against the Niners, 2.7 yards per carry for 46 yards. And that was pretty much ball game. DeAndre Swift only had 6 carries for 13 yards. 2 underrated players you got to watch for the Dallas Cowboys is Damone Clark and Marquise Bell. Both are second-year players. They're linebackers. They're stepping up since Leighton Vander Esch went down. And, that's a game that we need to make sure the Eagles run all over the Cowboys. So for me, that's a big matchup. The Eagles run offense against that Cowboys run defense. We could talk about the pass rush. Last time these two teams went up against each other, the Eagles had arguably their best pass rush of the season. Brandon Graham had 2 sacks, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick. They got to Prescott 5 times, but they were all over them. Their per PFF, the Eagles pass rush grade against the Cowboys back in week 9 or something, I think it was 80.9. That was their best grade this season. So you look at this Cowboys offensive line, they struggle against elite pass rushes. So we need to see an Eagles pass rush, a 4-man pass rush that is consistently getting to Dak Prescott. Dak is excellent handling the blitz. The good news is the Eagles are horrible at blitzing. Their success rate blitzing quarterbacks is among the worst in football. So Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, these guys got to get home big time, man. Anybody else have any other matchups?
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Obviously, last time Mr. Turnstile himself, Terrence Steele, really did help with that Eagles pass rush. So hopefully they go and attack him again, overwhelm him, and certainly get to Dak Prescott. what Eagles rushing offense. Yeah, well, yeah. Listen, you're absolutely right, Matty B. Last week they didn't do it well, and then they abandoned it really quickly. So it's something again, I wish they would have a little bit more patience with, but understandably, they just really weren't getting at it. So hopefully this week we'll be able to get Swift involved. Hopefully a little less Gainwell rushes because I'm sure he'll fumble the ball. But
Yep. Mark says, glad you caught you this afternoon struggling with waiting. I hate Sunday night games, man. It's torture to wait through an entire day.
And then next week we gotta wait till Monday night. It's even worse.
Man, there's nothing worse than this Eagles schedule, man. It's not even the games, just like the entertainment purpose. Like, I've pretty much cleaned my entire house twice. I made a white chicken chili that's on the stove. That was at like 6 this morning.
Oh wow!
Like, it's not enough to do, and then now it's pouring rain, so like this is not enough to do. Right. Probably be playing video games for the next several hours, and a lot of drinking. Matty B says CeeDee Lamb ripped off 191 yards last game. What gives you confidence that'll be different today? Not a lot, man. CeeDee Lamb is as elite as it gets. We have seen this story play out many different times. Yeah, Ryan.
Listen, he's not getting 191 today. I'll guarantee that. I'll put whatever you want on that. The Eagles defense were embarrassed by CeeDee Lamb, and that's not happening again. It's a Dallas Cowboy. This game means a lot to them, and I know it does. And what he did, that absolutely hurt those defensive backs. And again, if you're having Slay on him pretty much exclusively, as much as you can, certainly, he's not getting 191. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Yep. We have Skip Bayless in the house.
Wow.
Saying my Dallas Cowboys.
Wow, Skip, thanks for joining us, pal.
He's been on my channel every day this week.
You're muted.
Yeah, I really like the Cowboys. We're going to get into predictions, but I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely leaning towards the Cowboys in this one. CeeDee Lamb's going to put 150 on us. I think the biggest matchup to watch in regards to CeeDee Lamb, and it's all related, is the Eagles' defense on third and fourth down and longs versus the Cowboys' late down offense. That's huge. That the Eagles' defense has been terrible on late downs. And the worrying news is that the Cowboys offense has been extremely good on late downs. The Eagles defense is 30th in the league in late down EPA. The Cowboys offense is second best in the NFL in late down EPA, man. So like when you put that together, that's bad news bears. You saw against the Niners, like after that first quarter, the Niners picked apart this Eagles defense on first downs. When you have that many skill players, and when you're managing through second and third and manageables, second and third and shorts with that many weapons and that many weaknesses on this Eagles defense, it is bad. So for me, like you have to get this Cowboys offense in third and longs, but you also have to get off the football field. Like that is a massive. We're going to get into keys to victory in just a little bit. Anybody else have any other matchups to watch?
I just want to see the Eagles run game. I just want to see them get the ball more, not like how many times did we get it last week? Like what, 14, 18? And we threw the ball 48 times. I mean, come on, we got to run the ball at least like 25 to 30.
Again, when you're averaging, less than 2.5 yards per rush, I understand the mindset of kind of going away from it, and especially when you were down by a lot, you're not going to run the ball as much. So I understand the disparity from last game. It was not great. It was not bad, but overall, the run game, definitely, I feel like they need to have a little bit more patience and really establish that, because it pays dividends in that fourth quarter when the defense is that much more tired, because, when you're running the ball that much, it gasses them. It really does. So again, I think later on down, fourth quarter time where we really need it, that's where it's going to pay dividends. So I hope they stick with it. I hope they're at least a lot more successful than they were last week, on their first and second down runs, so they don't abandon it. And again, if they're in the game, they're going to have a better mix of the two. So,
Ryan, can you carry us for like 1 minute? I'll be right back.
Absolutely, not a problem. So, listen, Mitch, again, I love the run game. And I found it funny. I'm sure many of you saw, the picture, the sign of the Eagles fans out at the NovaCare complex with the sign, "Run the damn ball." Or,
That's all that.
pretty funny, but in reality, again, if you look at it logistically and intellectually, you realize, listen, they weren't in a position to run the ball a lot. They weren't successful at all. Like, just the worst run, the worst run game they've ever had. So adding 10 more rushes wasn't going to help a damn thing. So I get it. I'm all for having a better mix. I understand we're in a passing league, and it's probably going to be 60-40 at best. But I'd like to see that a little bit more. But if it's not working, it's not working. And if you're down in the game, you're not going to be running the ball. So hopefully we'll be in it.
My biggest thing about that was just the offense just needs to be more creative. Like, they need to have Swift involved in more checkdowns. They need to get our playmakers more in space. Like, there's no difference to me than running a football for 4 yards versus a 4-yard checkdown. They're all the same. And that was my issue, is like Hurts holding on to the ball too long. I thought he was terrible against the Niners. And, but that's also Brian Johnson as well. So Skip Bayless says, Jerry World is Cowboys country. Saddle the horses and let's ride. How about them? Is there anything worse than a Cowboys fan? Are you kidding me with that comment? Like, who do you think you are sounding like? Like, just arrogant, pompous a-holes, man.
Exactly.
I can't even like envision me typing something like that on a computer. Like, that's so ridiculous. Right. Eagles defense has not recorded a sack on third down all season. That's interesting. I actually didn't know that. That's a really good one.
Is that actually true?
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't. Statistically, the improbability of that, it has to be in like.
What are the odds?
Yeah, exactly. Holy my God! If that's true, though, that explains why they're so bad on third down.
But I mean, there have been some fourth quarter drives where like Brandon Graham's gotten sacks and things like that, or Hassan Reddick has gotten some sacks in big moments. So I don't know. I
feel like they've had to. Yeah, that Buffalo game, I feel like that Brandon Graham sack in the fourth quarter was a third down.
Maybe. Parsons added to the injury list. Has an illness but expected to play. Maybe he was hanging out with Joel Embiid. Who knows? Raphael, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Eagles are going to have a great match against the Cowboys. It's going to be a great game, man.
Yeah.
Quinn says Reddick had a late sack. Maybe it was fourth down. I agree. Versus Washington. Yeah, I feel like the Eagles defense has stepped up in late drives on third and fourth down. So I don't know about that. Brandon says watching last week's game, the O-line gave Hurts plenty of time to pass. Are the wide receivers not getting open, or is Hurts looking for a big play downfield? I think it's a combination of everything, Brandon. Sorry to play politics. I thought the O-line pass protection was excellent for the most part. I thought Hurts was holding on to the ball for too long. I thought he was not seeing the field. I also didn't like Brian Johnson's play calling. The offense has been predictable. It's become stale. This offense is dead last in motion. It's just the problem with the Eagles offense is the run blocking. The O-line has not been run blocking, not nearly as well as they were last year. You just look at the numbers. And the Niners beat them up. Like, that was a game that I expected the Eagles to have some success. The Niners pushed them around in the trenches. And that's something we're not used to seeing in Philadelphia. Like, and as soon as the Niners were able to get a lead and make this Eagles team one-dimensional, it's what it is, man. It's what it is. So one more matchup to watch is Eagles wide receivers versus Deron Bland. Definitely need to point that out. This Cowboys defense with takeaways and forcing turnovers is right up there, man. And that's led by Deron Bland. But the Dallas defense has kind of been iffy the last two games. 2 weeks ago, you saw Sam Howell put up some really good numbers against the Cowboys, but failed to convert any of those yards into points. Last week against the Seahawks, the Cowboys defense kind of looked the same, but the Seahawks converted those into points. Deron Bland keeps intercepting the ball, but make no mistake, like this is a guy that can be exposed 1,000%. He can. You look at Deron Bland on the season, 6 missed tackles. He's given up 3 touchdowns on the season, some major yardage after the catch. Keep an eye on Deron Bland because that guy's like, you throw in his direction, it's either going to be an interception or a touchdown. And that could be a swing in a game that's so close. So that being said, those are our top matchups to watch. Let's roll on to our Eagles' top 5 keys to victory.
Won't you give me sweetness and light for my restless mind? Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind in these troubled times.
All right, top 5 keys to victory for the Birds. I'm going to go first. I never get to go first. I'm going first this week. Let's roll on to my number 1. My number 1 is don't get cute, be smart. The Eagles need to take what the defense gives you. Too often against the Niners, the Eagles seemingly made every play on offense harder than it ever should have been. The Eagles need to find a way to get Swift touches early and often, not just the run game. Get involved in the passing game, screens, checkdowns, whatever it is. Just get Swift in open space. We've seen pretty much enough data to say when Swift is more involved in the offense is absolutely clicking, especially on that left side. The Eagles' left side of the O-line is by far its strongest, running or moving the football down the field. Number 2 for me is back to fundamentals. Missed tackles was an ongoing narrative in that Niners game. It was something we heard Sean Desai talk about all week long. Shanahan killed the Eagles in those areas like Nicholas Morrow, exposing those mismatches. If the Eagles allow CeeDee Lamb to get loose and allow him to get the ball without swarming, we can see a lot of the same issues in this area. Number 3 for me, stop the Cowboys in the red zone on 3rd down. I already touched on the late down success rate for the Eagles and the Cowboys. This is a huge advantage for the Cowboys. The Eagles have to get off the football field. The good news is the Cowboys are 17th in red zone scoring at 53.7%. That was a huge area in that first matchup against the Cowboys. I think they had a turnover on downs and things like that in the second half in week 9. So again, if the Eagles can get the Cowboys off the field on 3rd, that's what we want. Brian Johnson needs to wake the F up is my number 4. The offense has become too stale and too predictable. We need more motion. The Eagles use motion at 9% of their snaps. That's the worst in football. The team above them is at 12%. So it's a 3% gap. That's how bad this is. And you look across the NFL, like the best offenses in the league utilize heavy motion extremely effectively. It's by far one of the weakest areas on the Eagles. Number 5, commit to the run early. The Eagles must force the Cowboys defense to stack the box. The Eagles need to score points. The Cowboys are going to score points. How do the Eagles put up points? They force the Cowboys to stack the box, commit to the run early, make them try and, take out this Eagles run attack, and then utilize A.J. Brown down the sideline for big gains. Utilize the run to set up the pass. Those are my top 5. Mitch, you're up.
Well, fundamentals is my number 1. I mean, just looking at the tacklings, I feel like I was watching the movie Little Giants when they're trying to tackle Spike. That's basically what it was, trying to bring him down, and that was just a terrible, terrible thing. And 2, I got to go with the red zone. You got to you got to get into that end zone. If we got into that end zone in that first quarter, 14-0, I would have felt a lot better about this team. I would have felt more confident, but then fell flat. 3 is Dallas Goedert. I want him to get the ball more. Give him the ball. Once you give him the ball, the rest will open up. A.J. Brown will get open. Devontae Smith, who's been on a tear the last couple of weeks, he'll get the ball. And 4, Brian Johnson, man, just change it up. I feel like I'm watching Doc Rivers from back in the day last year. It's just the same style, predictable, slow. I just feel like I'm watching that. And 5, get the Dak. Trying to get the Dak as best you can. I mean, Hassan Reddick, Sweat, we're capable of it, but we're starting to shy. Help us get to that.
Yep. The Cowboys have the 18th best offensive line when it comes to pass block win rate at 56%. The opportunities are there, just like we talked about that Niners O-line, and it didn't happen. Ryan, what are your top 5 keys?
What are we doing? 1 through 5? Well, number 1, get to Dak. You were successful last time. It affected what he could do. You slowed down their offense enough to be able to outscore him. That's what you need to do again. You need to get to Dak. You need to get some sacks, get the pressures up. Focus on going through Terrence Steele. He obviously just wasn't able to do it last time. So whatever you got to do, get to Dak. Number 2, get off the damn field. Third downs have been the worst. Get off the damn field. I mean, the first 2 downs, you're able to get them in 3rd and long situations, and then you just give it up. Unacceptable. Hopefully, with getting Cunningham and bringing in Leonard, you can hopefully fix a little bit of the middle of the field. But man, you got to get off the field on 3rd downs. Number 3. I honestly, I don't care where CeeDee Lamb lines up. I don't care if he lines up at the backfield. I don't care if he's on the sideline. You get Slay on him every single time. He goes into the locker room. I want Slay on him. He has to go to the bathroom. Slay's right there. I don't care. Get Slay on CD. I want to minimize his impact in this game. Even Q said it. Give CD the Travis Kelce treatment. Whatever you got to do. Absolutely. Number 4, you gotta score and score early. And enough of this, first half crap where you're not effective. I mean, last week you came down and you didn't look that great. You were getting the ball down the field, but you settled for field goals. You end up with 14 points and a 14-0 lead on San Fran. You don't know how different that game could have been. The mindset could have absolutely changed for San Fran, and you could have absolutely continued to pound on them. So I want to see points, and I want to see those touchdowns. I want to see them early. I want to see first half actually. Last year we were the best second quarter team. We scored like 90% of our points. I know I'm exaggerating, but still, I want to see that again. I want to see some first half scoring and look comfortable. And then number 5. I will say run the ball. It's there, obviously. If it's the same thing like last week, they're not giving it to you. You're getting 2 yards a carry, blah, 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 blah. All right, I get it. But kind of dives like you said, get Swift involved however you can, whether it's running, whether it's screens, whether, check downs, whatever. I don't care. I want to see Swift. I mean, he has been so explosive when we've been using him. And you're right. You brought up the whole left side thing, man. The disparity between running to the left versus the right is a clear over 2 yards per carry. It's absolutely insane. Mailata and Dickerson clearly are doing their thing. So I want to see running the ball. I want to see a good mix because I know if that happens, if there's a nice mix, if there's a 60-40 mix, that means 1, they're in this game, and 2, they're being effective in both sides of offense. So that'll tell a lot about this game. Just simply looking at the disparity between run and pass.
Yep. Getting some feedback. Let's get into our score predictions and player of the game predictions. Matty B says Slay was on CeeDee Lamb in the first game. What is going to change? Slay is cooked and a terrible teammate. Wow.
Man, I hate
it. I will agree that I'm not the biggest Darius Slay fan. He's absolutely cooked. The Eagles need to move on from him this offseason. That's a different conversation. But let's get into our score predictions. I'll go first. I think the Cowboys will probably win this one about 32-30. I'm moving off of my early week prediction. I think I was slightly edged to Philadelphia. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this game boils down to A, the effectiveness on the run game for the Eagles, and B, how much Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick eat in the backfield, get into Dak Prescott. That's really as simple as it is. In that first matchup with Dallas, they didn't really get to Dak until late in the fourth quarter. That's been an issue all season long, not playing 4 quarters. So I think the Cowboys get the W. If the Eagles were to get the W, my player of the game has to be Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweat. One of those two guys, making some big plays, maybe tipping a ball or forcing a fumble, because I think this is going to be a back and forth football game. What about you, Mitch?
I got the Eagles winning 27-24. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire. If we score first and quick, it will be a big game changer for us. It will be a huge game changer. So my player of the game will have to be DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift. Give him the ball. He will make moves, run, check down, whatever it is. Just get him more involved, and the field will open up more. So my player of the game is Swift.
Love it. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I feel like I've been going back and forth, honestly. I'm pretty sure earlier in the week on Birds of the Roundtable, I had the Eagles winning it. I still do. But, man, it's going to be – seriously. I'm going to go with 31-30 Eagles. I'm going to go Jake Elliott. Nice field goal for the win. But as far as player of the game,
my heart can't handle that, Ryan. My heart cannot handle that.
Are you kidding me?
I just had like a mini panic attack when you just said last second field goal.
Yeah. Oh, it's gotta be. Come on. I mean, this is just the way the Eagles season has gone. Last year we got nice, comfortable leads. Our anxiety was down. We gotta even it out a little bit. So the anxiety's high this time of year. But it's gonna be a tight one, back and forth. Listen, I think again, I want to see these Eagles respond because they got punched in the mouth, and you come back and you're soft after the game they just had in San Fran. My panic meter is way high if that happens again. So I'm gonna go AJ Brown as my player of the game. Man, I've been hearing him talk this week, and man, he seems motivated, and he hasn't done a lot as far as yards. He's kind of come back down to earth from his nice little streak there. But, man, I think he wants it bad, and I think he's been chirping in everybody's ear who's going to listen to give him the damn ball. And they are certainly going to do that today or tonight. And, A.J. Brown, monster game.
Yep. Brad says Eagles need to shut down Dak Prescott early. Just as we said earlier in the show, get the Cowboys to 3rd and longs as much as possible. Take out their run game. Well, the Cowboys they don't really run the ball well anyway. But the Eagles have been awful at stopping teams on third downs and 3rd and longs. So this is a huge, huge area. We've got Bruce in the house saying hi to Mitch. Eagles fan Kylie says Jalen Hurts for player of the game. Bruce says Eagles win 34-24. Love it, man. That'd be amazing. Eagles need to get the running game going, and the defense will need to sack Prescott. Absolutely. Matty B says, why wasn't Slay on him the whole game? Here's our lockdown corner. Maybe if he was on him all game, Lamb would have broken 300-plus yards. We'll see, man. Cowboys move Lamb and create mismatches. CeeDee Lamb also gets a lot of snaps in the slot.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
All right, let's finish off the show. Final thoughts on this one, Mitch. Plugs. Time's yours.
Final thoughts on it. This game is going to be intense. Fans are going to overreact, especially on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now. It's just emotions going to run high, emotions going to run low. Just be there, and the team Please fix the play calling. That's my major gripe. But other than that, go Birds. You can find me on Hardcore Sports Network, Edge of Philly Sports every Thursday, and Sixers post game, and Twitter at Mitch Topsy.
All right, Mitch. You're the man. What about you, Ryan? Final thoughts?
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention earlier is why Desai feels the need to keep trotting out Eli Ricks on third down instead of Bradley Roby. And I'm not saying Bradley Roby is an all pro or anything, but my God, you wonder why your third down is so inefficient. Eli Ricks is just, I'm sorry, he's young, he's inexperienced, he's just not it right now. And you need that veteran, kind of leader out there. And man, I would just love to see Roby out there and stay out there on third down. Yeah, listen, this is going to be a great game. It's going to tell us a lot about how the rest of this season and the playoffs are going to go. Regardless of whether we lose, we can still lose this game, win out, and the Cowboys win out, and we still have the division. And listen, Dallas has a much harder schedule. San Fran has a hard schedule. The Lions have a hard schedule. Like, they're all going to, most likely have a loss on their plate. So regardless, let's have the faith. Let's enjoy this game, but let's see how they respond. As far as where you can find me on X at Philly Sports PSA. I'm all over EOP, also my own network, Philly Sports Alliance. Check us out, Birds of the Round Table on Tuesdays. Check out after this, we're doing a NFL draft special on linebackers. Heyo. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, make sure you're following this guy. Make sure you're following this guy. And listen, we're all EOP, man. We're doing it up. So if you have something, we got something for you. So check us out, YouTube it, subscribe, hit all the buttons that all the social media sites tell you to hit, and follow everybody.
Yep. Brad says final thoughts. Eagles win. We've got Earl in the house. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. Manny B says, let the excuses.
Oh my Lord.
If the Eagles lose tonight, they can still win the next 4 games and win the division.
Right.
They play the Cardinals, the Giants twice, and the Seahawks.
Right. And Dallas still has to play who? Miami. They still have to play Detroit. Listen, they're gonna lose. I'm gonna say Dallas. If they win this game, they're still gonna lose 2 more games this year.
Yeah, we'll see. But I would rather the Eagles just take care of business tonight.
That
for our own sakes, for my own
that would be helpful.
Anxiety. Ammo says 27-24 Eagles. Brad saying 49-0 Eagles win.
Brad, if that happens, bud, I'll Venmo you $1,000.
This is going to be one of those games where you're going to be standing at the TV and just pumping fists and yelling at the TV all game long. This is one of those games. It's going to be one of the all-time Dallas Philly games, and I'm glad that rivalry is like full blown, man. This is what it is. This is what we want.
It's so much better when it's a fun rivalry. They're both good. You both are. Again, especially Dallas, because let's be honest, those cockroaches are all living in this area, and they pop out everywhere more than any other franchise. And it's because their daddy was a fan because he again, liked them back in the 70s because he was a cockroach too. So listen, it's so much fun talking crap with Dallas fans, but it's so much better when they're both good and the rivalry's hot.
It's the best. Quinn says if the Eagles win, Matty B has to wear a Slay jersey on a stream.
Love it.
Or at least, or another good one would be like he has to open and close every show he does with Howie Roseman is a golden god. Or something along those lines. Because we know our Matty B hates him from Howie Roseman.
I apologize to Howie. I apologize to Slay. My bad.
Mark, thanks for joining so much.
Yeah,
and Marlene says Eagles freeze. Guys, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back for halftime with me and Shane, and then post game right when the clock hits 0. As always, right after this, we're going live again, me and Ryan, for Party on Broad, breaking down the top 10 linebackers in the 2024 NFL Draft. I also have started my short draft profiles on some of my favorite prospects. So I've got 3 of those dropping after that video. So a lot of drop content coming. One of your boys, Mitch, Blake Corum, is one of them. So that'll be dropping this afternoon.
Oh, I'm nervous for that game, man. I'm nervous.
It's going to be great, man. It's going to be awesome, man. Cannot wait. Michigan versus Bama is going to be.
They're going to get killed by Bama.
I didn't say it.
I'm
Anyway,
telling you that Michigan has a chance. I'm like, are you just being nice to me?
JJ McCarthy has a lot to prove. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
He's going to get a great test in a Bama defense that's playing ridiculous right now.
Mhm.
Guys, thank you everyone for watching. Again, please consider subscribing. Help us out. Here's Mitch Kofsky at Mitch Kofsky. Go check out Hardcore Sports Network, wherever you get your podcasts. Down there, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA on X. And check out Philly Sports Alliance Facebook, wherever you get your shows. I'm Dibes. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in just a few minutes, halftime, whatever it is. We'll see you there. Stay awesome, everyone.